Hey, good morning, Morter Marchers. I'm Dr. Ted Morter. Thanks for being here with me this morning. I'm a minute late because, wouldn't you know, right at 9 o'clock I get a phone call from a guy who's trying to meet me today. Hey, that's the way it goes. So today's the super secret. The super secret. Let me tell you what it is by going through some examples of what I think really count. The secret to relationships, the secret to being able to get along these days is good communication, period. That's just the name of the game. And most people think they're good communicators, but in reality, we're not. I've spent a lot of time, energy, and money, studying and learning about communicative skills and how to persuade people to a particular way of thinking and how to help people acknowledge and figure out where some of their shortcomings are. But really, when we're dealing with communication, you deal with this every single day. If you're a practitioner, you deal with this in your office all the time. And if you're just working with some friends on a project or something, the same thing holds true about communicative skills. And type A personalities like myself are a little bit more difficult because, we tend to have it all figured out. We're ready to go. We know what's going to need to happen. And by God, we've got it all ready to launch. And truth be told, most people are not like that. Most people that you deal with are not the type A. And so this is some advice to everybody out there about having relationships be successful and having win-win type communication with people so that people go away from a conversation with you feeling good about themselves. They feel good about that conversation. It made a lot of sense to them. And if that's true, you have actually been a good communicator. So there's 3 steps to this communication that you have to think about. And the first one is just hearing what somebody is saying to you. A lot of times people will be talking and I'll notice that if I'm talking to someone, I'll notice they may be looking over here or they're doing that. They're not really hearing what I have to say. Or if they are hearing it, they're not really paying much attention to it. And when that happens and you're not paying attention to, hey, Blake, yes, I'm here. I was just a little bit late. Try to log on again. So maybe they're hearing what I'm saying or not, but it looks to me like when I'm watching them, and remember, most of your communicative skills deal with nonverbal communication. I don't know, I've heard between up to 80% of the communicative skills when we're communicating with someone are nonverbal. That means your body position, how you're following with your eyes, how you're looking at them, how you're engaging with them. Remember, this is nonverbal. It's not what you're saying, it's how you're being. It's not only what you're projecting, but what you feel inside, what your energy level is. If your energy level's low and you don't really care about that person and you don't think they think they're crazy or they're idiot or something, they'll pick up on that. I guarantee it. So you have to be cognizant of these factors. So you have to be able to hear, they have to be able to hear what I'm going to say. And the second thing, first was hearing, the second thing is listening. Are they really listening and engaging with you when you're having this conversation? Are their eyes tracking with you? Are they shaking their head yes? Are you shaking your head yes? Are you mirroring their posture, their position? Maybe they've got their arms crossed or sitting back here looking like this, so you would do the same thing. You're going to mimic because that opens up the channels. It gets people, it breaks down their barriers that they have, and they think, oh, this person's they're like me. Not only do they like me, they're like me. Okay, so then they're going to be more apt to listen to what you have to say. And these skills that I'm talking about are critical if you're going to have any type of relationship with people for long term. And if you're going to go into a business deal, or you're trying to go to a loan officer, or you're trying to, doing some type of business, or even in relationships, you're trying to persuade someone to listen to what you have to say so that, you'll be able to espouse the expertise that you bring to the mix. Do you really believe that about yourself or not? Because it will come through non-verbally. Up to 80% of the communication, again, is non-verbal. It means you're not talking, you're just who you are. You're being there. So it's hearing and then listening. And the third phase for this super power that you've got is understanding what they're having to say. Engaging in a conversation and really listening and then putting yourself in their shoes, reverse flipping the situation so that you are them and you're thinking like them. And what does that equate to you? How are you responding based on if you were in their shoes? The things that you're saying, the things that you're espousing, the listening that you're doing, the communication non-verbally, all these things are important. So it's hearing, listening, and then understanding. You have to understand what they're trying to say. If you don't understand it, then you're going to have to stop and ask some questions. You're going to have to dig in a little deeper, and you're going to say, okay, so I hear what you're saying. I'm listening closely, but I don't quite understand what you mean by this or that. Could you further explain that to me? Instead of saying, no, that's not right, don't take that position because you'll shut them down immediately. Hi, Paul. Good morning. You don't want to shut somebody down. You want them to open up. You want them to say, oh, okay, this person really wants to understand what I'm having to say. So if you don't understand, remember, hearing, listening, and then understanding. If you don't understand what they're saying, you must stop for a minute, lower your shoulders, take a breath, look right at them and say, okay, so help me understand this. Help me understand your point on this particular position. Use it for politics. You mean, good Lord, if you're going to talk politics with someone, which I do not recommend, because you're never going to convince them about your position, and they're certainly not going to convince you about their position, so you're going to have no communication there whatsoever. So don't even go down that road. There's no sense. You can't argue with an idiot and expect to come out on top. They'll beat you with experience. So just remember that. When you hear something that's idiotic to you, to that person, it's not idiotic. To that person, it's in their DNA. I don't know if it's in their DNA, but possibly. It may be that type of personality is locked into the mind control. And when that happens, then you're not going to convince them one way or the other, but just try and understand. So ask questions. Why do you feel that way? How do you talk about what this means to you? Not only, but how does it make you feel? What's the reality of the situation instead of just the feelings? Facts always come through, but somebody who's really locked into a particular way of thinking, then they're going to listen to facts. And the more facts you give them, the more they get staunch into their position. And finally, they'll just blow up and yell at you and use emotion. We'll go from logic to emotion. And that's when you're going to either walk away from that conversation or you're going to win the conversation, one of the two. Either way, you win, because there's no understanding of that. So once you've tried these things, you've tried hearing what they're saying, number one. Number two is listening with intent, following with your eyes, shaking your head. Okay, I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm listening. I got it. And now I understand where you're coming from for this. And it's okay to differ on these particular points. It's all right to have an understanding that you're not going to agree on something. That's all right. And by not agreeing with someone, you can just simply say, I understand where you're coming from, and I don't think we're going to agree on this particular point, but that's okay. We can move past that and still go out to lunch if you'd like to. We could have a good time. And communicate about other things that don't have to do with what that particular topic was. What are the three things again I told you? They were hearing, they were listening, and they were understanding. So that makes you a better communicator, which gives you superpowers. When you have these communicative skills, you control the room. You control everything that's going to happen in that interaction between you and or one person or 100 people or 1,000 people in the room. But you have to get on the same plane. You have to get on the same plane. And you create that by putting yourself in their position. So if you were speaking to a group, you'd look out there and you say, okay, so you guys are probably thinking, I don't know what I'm talking about this. So you want to deflate that. You want to take that out of the discussion immediately. You would say, you may not think I have any idea what I'm talking about with this, but let me tell you why I think this is really important. I want you to listen up to what I have to say so that we can both understand where I'm coming from on this particular topic and why you might consider a different outcome. See, these are just the ways of things that you create success in your life. And I think that's really important. It's really important. I don't recommend you try this in a bar because you're not going to win. Nothing ever comes good out of a bar except a drunk. That's typically what happens. And I'm not saying that's bad, good or bad or whatever, but don't try to get into one of these deep-seated conversations philosophically about the meaning of life after you've had a drink or two, because it's just, you sound like an idiot. That's just the way that it works. So, hi Sylvia, good morning. Good morning to you. I'm glad all of you are here with me today because, I was thinking this morning, I was sitting here having my cup of coffee and looking outside. It's just beautiful here. The weather's been great. It's in the mid-70s and it's kind of cool and crisp a little bit in the morning. And I can smell the honeysuckle just all over the property here. It just smells like sweet, very sweet. And it reminds me of my mother. She always said, be sweet, Teddy, be sweet. Okay, Mom, this one's for you. So I would encourage you, Find things that are going to make you feel good during the day and that you truly feel good from deep inside. And if that involves communication with somebody, maybe you're having a trouble with somebody right now and you're having a situation where you're not in agreement, you've caused disruption in your family dynamics or in your work dynamics or whatever that might be. Kind of lean into that and say, okay, maybe we could start a conversation again and have a better conversation about that, because I'm going to be more effective at hearing what you're saying. I'm going to listen to what you're saying, and then I'm going to try and understand what it is that you're saying. You can even say those things to the person to reignite the conversation again. Say, you know, Joe, the last time we were talking about this, we kind of got a little bit heated and the conversation elevated to a point that I wasn't comfortable with that, and I haven't been comfortable ever since. So I thought we'd try this again, and we could both use some of these 3 steps. So we can both have superpowers, because that makes a win-win-win. It's not a zero sum. It's win-win-win. Everybody gets to win. So let's talk about how we're going to hear and how we're going to listen and better understand each other on the position that we have. Pretty simple, but the small, simple things can make a huge difference in your life. They'll make a huge difference in how you get along with other people just as well. So I'm going to do the Morter March today, and I'm going to be thankful and grateful for my communicative skills. Now, that's a big word. I don't know if you want to use communicative skills. You can just say, I'm going to be thankful and grateful that I am a great communicator. Okay? Because this will help you in every aspect of your life. I'm not kidding. It's not just like feel good today and blah, blah, blah. No, this is the real deal. These are your superpowers that you don't use most of the time. You just shut it down and say, you know, I don't like that person. I'm not going to talk to them. I don't care about them. They can go to hell. I don't care. Blah, blah, blah. No. They don't go away. They're still there. So become a better communicator in here, and it will project out there. And whether you're trying to build up your practice, or you're trying to build up your business, or you're trying to develop relationships, or you want to start a new business, or you want to reignite an old business, whatever that might be, whatever that is. Maybe you're having trouble with your health. Maybe you want to work through something with your health. Be a better communicator about talking to people that know what you have or have been where you are and have successfully circumvented these particular problems. Just a thought. But this is how you become a superpower person. Superpowers. People are like, who is that person? Who is that masked man? I don't recognize this person. He's never been like this before. She never acted this way before. I kind of like it. All right. So I'm going to be thankful and grateful to be a great communicator. So we're going to do this Morter March. And again, the march is designed, it's very powerful, because when we move into this position, we've got one of our arms up and one back and our head tipped a certain way, and our eyes are open and then they're closed, and we're holding our breath, and we've got 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. These are all, you think this is crazy. I don't even know how to do this. Well, go to www.mortermarchmonday.com. Watch those videos. Dr. Tom, my brother's there. And they're demonstrating how you do this and why you do it and why it's important. And if you haven't watched it in a long time, go watch it again, because it will help you. You'll go, oh, in this unit of time, this is different. I forgot about that part. I didn't realize that we were supposed to tip our head. You know, whatever that might be. You're different now than you were the last time you watched it. Go watch it again. And then when you do this march, what we're doing is we're synchronizing. I'm going to think today, I am thankful and grateful. I'm a great communicator. I'm a great communicator. I'm a great communicator. I'm a great communicator. That's what I'm going to be thinking. So I'm thinking it up here in our part of our brain that does reasoning and thinking and cognitive processes. And then we're going to move into this position, which talks to this area of the brain, which is the cerebellum and below, that deals with body position and joint position. So that's how we talk to this part. This part we talk out loud and think out loud. This part doesn't matter what you think and say. It doesn't pay attention to that. It pays attention to how your body's responding to this. How is it responding? So if I said, I'm a great communicator, and my body's going, bull, you are not. Look what happened the last time. You almost went to jail when you were talking to that police officer. Remember? Remember how you got all cocky and blah, blah, blah? Because you saw something online that says, I don't have to roll my window down or something stupid? Okay. Maybe your body is stuck into that mode. So up here, I'm thinking, I'm a great communicator. Down here, I'm thinking, last time I almost got in big, serious trouble. I thought I was communicating with that loan officer at the bank, and it didn't work out at all. And they not only did not give me the loan, they called another loan due. Yep, that's extreme. But I'm just saying that if there's a disconnect, it's not synchronized between what's happening up in here and how your body's performing down here. So we have to get the two together. We have to get them right together. so that what we think about is easily manifested in our physical body. That's what the Morter March does. So get up out of your chair, get off the couch, get away from your desk, and do this march with me. And be thankful and grateful you are a great communicator. Come on, here we go. So I'm going to start my left foot out. We're going to do this 3 times. How many? 3. Left foot out, right arm up. Hold your breath. I'm thankful and grateful. I'm a great communicator. I'm a great communicator. Close your eyes. I'm a great communicator. Good. We'll go the other way. So I got my right foot out. My left arm's up this time. I'm thankful and grateful. I'm a great communicator. I'm a great communicator. I'm a great communicator. Okay? That was 1 set. We're going to do 3 sets. Left foot back out, right arm up. I'm thankful and grateful. I'm a great communicator. I'm a great communicator. I'm a great communicator. Stretch when you do that. Right foot out, left arm up. I'm thankful and grateful. I'm a great communicator. I'm a great communicator. I am a great communicator. We got both coasts doing this with me. So when Blake's out in Santa Barbara and Paul Horowitz up there on the East Coast. Thanks, guys, for being here with me on this. I appreciate it. Thankful and grateful. I'm a great communicator. I'm a great communicator. I am a great communicator. Think in your life, when would it be better for you to be a great communicator? When would that affect you? Thankful and grateful. I'm a great communicator. I'm a great communicator. I am a great communicator. So I think we did that 3 times, 3 sets. So think about it now. When do you need better communication? So if you're going into a meeting, or you're going to try to hire someone, or you're going to have to fire someone, or you're going to have a discussion with your parents or your kids or something that's painful, do this march before you go into that interaction. Why not? What do you got to lose? What if it helped you lower your defenses, lower your shoulders, get you out of that fight or flight reflex, and started up awakened a whole new area of your brain that really does understand that you are a great communicator. That's just my thinking on a Monday morning. All right, I'm going out to the garden. I'm going to go have a blast today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you guys for being with me. I hope that you'll share this with other people. Wait, I have a question for you. Would it be more effective to take each step of the walk by moving forward only? Okay, I can't see all of that, but I think you're saying, should we start walking forward as we're doing this? Yes, you can do that. It's no problem at all. So you can put your foot out, but I can't do that. I'd be over here. Okay, can you guys hear me? So I got to do it while I'm standing right here, but you sure could. You could actually walk forward. Good morning, Jacqueline. You could actually walk forward as you're doing the march. So you'd do the march like this. You'd step forward the other way. Yes, that's certainly a great way to do that if you have the space in the room. Now, remember, if you're wobbly, if you're having a trouble with your balance, your cerebellum's off a little bit, you might want to just stand still, and you might want to lean up against something on one of your sides, like against a couch or a chair or something, so you don't fall over. Thanks for the questions. I appreciate that, guys. Hope that answered your question. I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful day.